Hello, boys and ghouls. Good morning. It's your friend Luis. Some of you may know me for my illustration shit, which goes under the name Luisifer, or some of you may know me from my vocal duties I do in my band, Teething. But all of you know me because of my beautiful brown little dog entitled Bingo. So today is a good day. Today is a good day because we talked to my friend Luc from Fubar. Not only does he sing in the grindcore band Fubar, he also is in charge and is one of the head honchos in Doomstar Bookings. Doomstar has been in charge of all of the big grindcore, power violence, and metal acts touring your town for the past 10-15 years. So they've morphed into something new, doing new kinds of bands, new kinds of tours. So we get into all of that. We talk about the Bloodshed Festival, which was my favorite festival, does not exist anymore, in Eindhoven, Netherlands. Without further ado, into my conversation with Luc Favie we go. Oh, finally.
Wow. Okay.
All right. Luc, how are
It's
you?
a while ago. I'm all right.
It's been a while. Do you recall how long it's been? I don't remember. Do you remember?
Well, I left Madrid 3 years ago. Then we did a tour in November or something.
You toured with Fubar through Spain, and then, yes, I saw you here. You stayed at my place. We booked a show.
Yeah, and then and I came to visit for a weekend, but I don't exactly remember when that was. And that was the last time, I think.
I'm pretty sure that's the last time, because looking through our WhatsApp conversations, the last thing we ever talked was me sending you pictures of us hiking with Bingo, and just I think we had a beer. Oh no, that day was really cool because we played board games. You remember at a bar?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did we have
that was really cool.
Or no?
I think so. And I found some picture of you going off a slide together with Bingo.
Correct. Okay.
Yeah.
So that sounds about right. So Luc, right now, okay, so let's start. Yeah, you're good?
I'm good.
Okay. So, Luc, for those of you who don't know Luc sings, and he's the vocalist for Fubar. He's the co-creator of Doomstar Bookings and the now extinct Bloodshed Festival. Is there anything else I'm leaving off the humongous plate of stuff you do?
I think that's about it. I did some other things as well. I used to sing in Suppository. My first band was Maggots, released some records with that. And I had a noise project called Head Crash. I did a few other things, but that's about it. Always keeping busy.
Nice. Okay, so all of these interviews, you're my third interview, okay? So
all right.
I start all of these, I don't want to call it interview. This is more of like two friends chatting, catching up, okay? So feel free to speak your mind at any moment. So first thing I like to ask everyone, do you prefer sweet or salty food, Luc?
Oh, that's a complicated one. I think I like it both. I prefer salty chocolate, so that means I like it sweet and salty.
I love this answer. A lot of people have been answering both sweet and salty meshed into one. I did Petri last week, and he said he really likes Asian food because it mixes sweet and salty. So talk to me about this salty chocolate. Can you elaborate? Is there an exact candy bar or something?
Yeah. You have a lot of chocolate brands like Tony Chocoloni or and they all do like salty caramel chocolate bars and things like that. And yeah, that's just amazing.
Is there a specific? Is that your favorite one? Is there a specific one
Yeah,
you love?
that's my favorite one. Yeah.
Okay, and is it like a go-to thing? Like, do you? When is your like? When are you sneaky about this? Is it like when you have a bad day, you go and eat one under the rain, or maybe when you're watching a cool movie, or what's your go-to moment?
Actually, when it's in the house, I would eat it every day. So that's why I don't buy it that often anymore. But yeah, I can eat it during the day. I can eat it in the evening while watching a movie. I'm basically always hungry, so I always want to eat and I always fancy something. So even if I'm working during the day, I want to snack something, cookies, chocolate, fruit.
Awesome.
We have in the Netherlands, we have those chocolate sprinkles, what we put on the bread. And
Oh, these are
so I
so
love to
good,
eat,
dude.
yeah, I love to eat them on the sandwich, on the sandwich. And then the best is together with peanut butter. So then I make a peanut butter sandwich with chocolate sprinkles. I can
Oh,
eat that every day.
isn't that like typical breakfast or what you would call in Spain merienda food?
Yeah, breakfast or lunch.
Okay.
Yeah,
Fuck, that's so and it's very the boxes they come in are very cute. So yeah,
yeah.
when we're touring or traveling the Netherlands, I'll make sure I'll pick some of those up for breakfast. So Luke, how's we haven't talked in a while. How's life? How's COVID treating you? I know there's been a lot of updates in your life. Like can you elaborate on how you've been?
I've been okay, ups and downs. It's how it goes in life. Um, I won't go into detail about the downs, but I think one of the biggest one, of course, is on the business side, and that's COVID. It affects us all. So it affects Doomstar, and it's been quite stressful since the beginning of March. But I'm always positive, and so I always see the upside, and I always keep hope. That's why I think we'll get through it.
Okay, and I think on the more brighter side, you have a beautiful dog now, or is it two dogs?
Yeah, one dog,
Okay,
Paco.
Paco, so cute,
Paco.
dude.
Yeah.
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 Can you tell us the story about Paco? Where'd Paco come from?
Paco comes from Romania. He's been a shelter dog. So we were living in Eindhoven in a flat, and uh, you had a Facebook group there, and a woman posted that she helped. She took the dog in from a rescue team, and but she's at work all the time, so she cannot. Yeah, she the dog was basically alone all day long, so she didn't feel comfortable looking after him, and she was looking for a steady home. So we went there. We had a look and we liked him right away. He was really scared at the
Hmm.
time. He had a little scar in his face because he's been attacked in a shelter before that. But yeah, we took him in, and over the last 2.5 years, we saw him brighten up. Like he really developed a personality, and the weird thing is I have a friend in Switzerland where I work with a lot, Patrick. He's doing production for us and for a lot of different bigger bands as well. And he has a little holiday home in Switzerland. And
Okay.
we've been there now 2 times. One time in the snow and one time now in the summertime. And we bring Paco with us every time. And every time we come back from Switzerland, it seems that Paco got uh, opened up a bit more. Like
Nice.
he had the opportunity to run around in the mountains and he really enjoyed himself. And then he feels more of a dog every time we come back. So maybe he was living in the mountains in Romania. We don't know. Maybe he liked that a lot. And here in the Netherlands, it's maybe a bit too flat for him. But now Paco is amazing. We normally I would bring him to the office every day, So he would come with us in the office, work with me all day, work with me. He would just be lying on the sofa, but it's what it is. We've canceled our office, and we've now all been working from home since March. But yeah, he's with me every day.
That's nice. Is he with you right now?
No, now he's in the house, and I have a garage attached to the house, and I rebuilt the garage into an office. Okay. So I'm sitting in a garage right now.
I'm so happy to hear Paco is doing great, and he's more of a social dog little by little. I'm very much looking forward to meeting him one day.
Yeah,
and I'm sure
he even started to bark. In the beginning, he didn't bark, and now he's even barking. Like, that's actually quite cool.
Good. That's good. I'm very happy to hear that. So maybe one day we can get him and Bingo together.
That would be awesome.
Okay. So Luc, let's talk a bit about how we met, how our friendship began. Because I have my version, but I would like to. Do you recall meeting each other?
I don't remember the first time. I have quite a foggy memory from a lot of stuff. I think it's because I had a period in my life where I smoked a lot, so I think that sort of clouded my that I don't remember that much. Okay.
Go ahead. I didn't want to interrupt you.
Yeah, I don't remember the first time when we met.
Okay, my recollection is that, like, I know we knew of each other because of, like, our bands and, like, the touring circuit. Teething used to be part of the Doomstar Bookings roster, etc., etc. And my recollection was, you were moving to Madrid, Spain, and you sent Teething an email, just being like, hey guys, what's up? I'm gonna be living in Madrid, so if you guys are ever down to, like, chill, let's chill. And my recollection was, yeah, you sent us an email, and I answered, and I was like, yeah, man, for sure, let's go to some shows. Next show is gonna be Suicidas in the Wurlitzer Ballroom. And Suicidas, for those of you who don't know, is a punk band from Barcelona, and they're based out of somewhere else. I don't remember, another country. And we met in that, and then we met at that concert, and then we slowly kept on meeting, just like getting, like, it was usually like casual meetings, just like going to shows or grabbing, like, a burger with David or whatever. So we just kept on meeting up, and because you lived and
doing and doing record fair we went to as well.
That's true. Yeah. So we did like a normal chill life, 30-year-olds, you know, we weren't partying as much. It was more like, yeah, let's go crate digging, or let's go to Torrelodones and, like, hike, or let's go get some good, like, delicious vegan food, or so. Yeah, we had like it was a good year, because you lived here in Madrid, Spain for a good year, and we met up a lot. I remember just coming to my house and ordering Chinese food and watching Near Dark, you know, just like.
Exactly, just chill, and yeah, you live in a really nice area, so walking around in your area, you have a really chill house, so I enjoyed that. That's right,
man, for sure. So Luc, let's go back in time. Can you, first of all, what came first for you, punk and hardcore or metal?
Metal.
Okay. And what was your introduction to metal? How did it blossom in your life? Because it's taken over your life. You do this pretty much for a living now, which we're gonna get into.
Well, I had a group of friends who were all older and who were all into metal, so mainly into stuff like Iron Maiden, Kiss, Venom, things like that. And somehow I was never that much interested in those kind of bands. I think it's only since I'm this old as I am now, since the last couple of years, that I listen to the more traditional bands, that I start to appreciate Iron Maiden a bit more and some other bands. Um, for some reason, I got attracted right away to death metal. So
Nice.
I started right away. My favorite band will always be Obituary, and that's the band I started with as well. So it was Obituary, Morbid Angel, Cannibal Corpse, um,
So you just
and that's
jumped
where I got into.
directly. You jumped directly to
Yeah,
death metal. Usually, like there's two steps before that. Like,
no, it went basically like uh, my dad is an old rocker, so he had a lot of records of bands like Foreigner and Bad Company and bands like that, the Eagles. So I was listening to those kind of bands, and I was listening to a radio show on the radio, who always played metal songs, and then rock and metal songs, and then I always recorded those radio shows. Try to erase the commercial break.
right.
So push record and then stop again, push record again, and um, that's the music I started with. And then for some reason I really liked Aerosmith, so I got into Aerosmith from there on. And then from one day to another, it jumped from Aerosmith to Cannibal Corpse. And then for years, I was only interested in death metal. I didn't care about anything else. If I would go to let's say Dynamo Open Air, I would only go and see the death metal bands. Everything else, I didn't give a shit. Like, that was
Wow.
really weird, but that was,
Well,
yeah.
I think that's usual, because how old were you then? Maybe 17, something like that?
Oh, then I was 12, 13.
Oh, okay. So I mean, that's normal at that age. I think you're like trying to like, even though obviously you were sincerely into it, you're kind of like trying to prove a point. Like, death metal is the only important thing. I do not care about anything else. Like, it's just
Yeah,
you're proving how death metal you are by only liking death. So what?
exactly. I didn't even like black metal, which is funny because I book a lot of big black metal bands right now. So, but
Exactly.
at that time, I didn't give a shit. Like, all my friends were into Cradle of Filth and Mayhem, and no, I don't care. Like,
To this day, what's like the bit for you? If we were to do, what's like your Mount Rushmore, like the big four of death metal to this day?
oh, well, that's Obituary,
Mm-hmm.
Cannibal Corpse,
Mm-hmm.
Morbid Angel, and hmm,
Hmm.
let me think.
I can see you choosing Deicide.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I used to be a lot into these. Yeah, these side.
Okay.
Yeah, that was more my style than Death or
Right.
Autopsy. For some reason, only start to appreciate Death a little bit later. Um, except for Symbolic. I was a really big fan of the album Symbolic.
Mm-hmm.
Everything they did before and they did after, I didn't like that much, but Symbolic is I think also one of my favorite albums.
Okay.
So yeah, let's give a D side and Death a shared fourth
Okay.
place.
Okay. And to this day, like, is the out of those death metal, which death metal band do you think still holds up? For me, all of those bands you named are still putting out killer records. What do you think? Or you're stuck more in the old
Well,
school?
yeah, well, Morbid Angel doesn't release records anymore, or at least what they did recently wasn't that well anymore. But David Vincent has a really awesome new band called Ultimas, and I think he's been nailing it there. So on that side, yeah, he's still doing something. Um, I think Obituary is still the band who holds up the most. Not just because I'm a fan, but it's also a band who you can go and see live, and you know they fucking deliver.
Yeah.
They have the right. They have a really good sound man, and they have the right sound on stage. So therefore, they always sound perfect live. and they just nailed it. No bullshit. They go on stage, they do their show, and they nail it. D-side, I don't know how it sounds now. It's I saw them, I think, a year ago or something.
At Netherlands
yeah.
Death Fest, was it?
Yeah, it was okay, but it's
Okay.
it wasn't like punching me in the face like
Right.
it used to be. And that was the same with Death. When I go and see them live, it was always a little bit boring live. So yeah, I like more action. I like it simple on stage and action. So
Obituary,
yeah, Obituary
for
is the one.
For sure.
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk about, as I mentioned before, 3 of your big branches, which for me is Doomstar Bookings, Fubar, and Bloodshed Festival. Okay, so let's start off talking about Doomstar Bookings, because we've already talked about it a bit. For those of you who are listening and don't know, Luke's full-time job is Doomstar Bookings. It's you and Luke's baby, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's throughout the years it's turned into like a big monster. Like you have a team of people right now. Can you talk about what you mentioned before? It's getting stressful and hard, but can you tell us about the initial, the roots of Doomstar Bookings and where you are at now?
Well, the roots is booking grindcore tours. That's where I started with, because from death metal I jumped to grindcore, and then I was all about grindcore. I think one of the first tours I've booked has been Magrudergrind since the first time they came over to Europe.
What year was that?
That's maybe 13 or 14 years ago.
Okay. I wasn't aware that was your first tour, the one that you booked. Okay. And how did all of that, sorry, I don't want to interrupt you, but how did all of that come about? Did you contact them? Did they contact you?
I have no idea anymore. Then I have to look up old emails if I can even find them. But it's just a bit blurry. I only know that I've booked it and I've joined them on the tour. Our friend Nicholas from Bones Brigade was driving them. That's also how that started a bit, that he's been driving all our tours in the beginning. And we built our relationship together. And he was also a big part in building Doomstar. And I still appreciate that. And I still, he needs to get a lot of credits for that as well, of course.
Great guy. Great guy. I'll be hitting him up. So just to have another chat with him, Nico.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, nice. And because my recollection of that, I don't know if there was a previous tour, but I remember there was a Magrudergrind tour where they had some Spanish dates booked, and 1 or 2 of them got canceled in the last moment, so I wasn't able to see them. This wasn't, so I'm not sure if that's the tour you're talking about.
They did 1 tour with somebody else. So
Jakob
that might be the
maybe?
one what's been... Sorry?
Jakob Sai, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I cannot find the one anymore, what I did, the first one. And then after that, so they did 1 tour with somebody else, and then after that, I did all the other tours again.
Okay, so I didn't want to cut you off. Continue, yeah. So that was your first step in Doomstar Bookings. You booked the Magrudergrind tour.
Yeah.
You just made it happen.
Yeah, and in a way, Bloodshed Fest is related to that as well. I don't want to jump into that too quickly, so I just keep that short for now until we come to that subject. But our drummer of Fubar was booking Bloodshed Fest in our center, and I started to help him out. So I'm not the one who started Bloodshed Fest, he's the one. So I helped him out. And then we asked some bands to play Bloodshed Fest. We got invited with Fubar to play shows in Germany. I started to help more bands with shows here and there. And then that developed into starting to book tours. And that developed into booking more grindcore tours for Bloodshed Fest, for Doomstar Bookings. And then I got in contact with Luc. I don't remember exactly how Luc and me got in contact. I think also through email that we knew each other from. He was writing for a magazine, and we got connected that way, I think. And then, then we decided to make it official and started the company and started, to book tours and to book shows, and mainly with grindcore, yeah.
Yeah, so that's my recollection. Like for me, if you were a grindcore or power violence band in Europe, you were well aware of Doomstar Bookings, because all of the great tours that came through Europe was pretty much through yourself, through Doomstar Bookings. And there was a network of promoters, grindcore promoters, power violence promoters, but throughout the years, it's been, as you said, it's been what, almost 13 years. It's morphed into, your roster has changed. It's not as focused on like grindcore and power violence bands. Can you talk about that?
Actually not anymore. And yeah, how to say it? It's been developing into death metal, into black metal, electronics, country, folk. Actually, whatever we like, we book it. And of course, we at a certain point we also realize, okay, we have to make a living with it, and maybe we need to attract different kind of bands as well, just to go forward with it, because our passion is booking and our passion is music in general. And so it didn't have to be necessarily grindcore all the time or extreme music. It can be different things as well. That's why we're doing our biggest band at the moment is Hilo, which is folk. It is extreme in a way, but maybe not somebody who likes Nasm would see as something what is extreme. But maybe that's also what happens when you get older. You dive into more directions, and then you develop yourself that way.
For sure. For me, seeing it from the outside, it's been more of like an organic process. It just started off like, oh, I'm going to book this grindcore tour. And then organically, it turned into a business.
Yeah, exactly. But a business where we always do what we feel like. And because we are our own boss, that makes it easier. It also makes it harder because we have all the responsibilities, and when things goes wrong, we are responsible for it. And we did make mistakes, and things do go wrong. And also right now, we're in it ourselves. I cannot go to a boss or to anybody else saying, okay, it's Corona, you still need to pay me now for the next couple of months. No, it's all up to me. I need to make sure that everything keeps running. So that makes it complicated, but in a way, we've been through a lot in the last 12, 13 years, and that's why we think we can do it.
So how many people are on the Doomstar team right now?
We're with 10 people.
Oh,
10,
wow.
11.
Yeah. I didn't realize it was that big. So it's okay. So for those listening, I'd say every person in Doomstar Bookings is in charge of, you have a couple of bands which you take care of their bookings in Europe.
That's true, but we also have a back office. So we're having 130 bands in total around. That differs a little bit. But we have a back office, somebody who handles the contracts and invoices. We have somebody who's doing the promotion, and I have an assistant as well who's helping me. So not everybody's an agent within the company.
Would you consider Paco, your dog, part of the Doomstar team?
He's a part of the team as well.
Fuck
He's
yeah,
he's the only one on the sofa in the office, so he's the boss.
Okay, I can see that. Good. He gets shit done. He makes sure everyone's doing their shit.
Exactly.
So, what bands are you personally handling right now?
I'm handling Heilung, as I told you, and I think it's one of my favorite bands because they're such lovely people. Like it's a family, and they didn't really came out of nowhere, but they're not that old as a band. They are older as musicians. They've been done tons of projects before, but as a band itself, it's only since a couple of years that they exist. I got the opportunity to work with them right away, and we really grew together as a family, and we stick together as a family, and that's a very beautiful process, which I like, because most of the time is always about what you can do for somebody, and you need to bring me the biggest festival, you need to bring me the biggest show, you need to bring me the highest fee, and otherwise we'll go somewhere else, or you need to constantly deliver. And with the Heilung, it's a bit like we're a family together. Everybody trusts each other. We grow together. I make things happen, but also because they grow so fast, I grow with them, and there's a lot of respect therefore. So, and that's a good feeling. That's a nice feeling, and that gives me faith in the music industry as well. And it also shows that the music industry isn't only about making a lot of money, and it's our passion together. So that's why I really like Heilung. I'm also booking Mercure, Abbath, Aborted, Dead to All, so which is death, but then without Diner, obviously, and Tomb D, Gals Weird. Let's see, Mayhem, Midnight, Philip H. Anselmo and the Illegals doing the Pantera shows, Sacred Reich, Tribulation, Wolves in the Throne Room, and I think I have personally around 25 bands which I'm booking.
Wow. Okay. Nice. I wasn't aware of many of those. And how, I know it's such a generic question, but I know there's certain parts of Europe where shows are already happening, but how do you see 2021 as for shows?
Well, as I said, I'm an optimist. So, in my opinion, the touring bit can start in September next year. And then the festivals, yeah, it's still 50-50. I really hope the festival season can happen next year, even if it's scaled down festivals, or if you need to do tests before you get in, or a sort of certificate that you don't have corona, that you can then enter the festival, something like that. But I do think a bunch of festivals will happen. Otherwise, it would be a huge hit for the industry.
Yeah.
But I think before that, it's not that much. Only the small COVID-proof tours and the COVID-proof shows, what's happening right now. There are a bunch of them in the Netherlands. There's some bands who are test casing. Like, it's been really cool to see that Massive Music from Poland, which is a booking agency, booking all the tours for Vader, Marduk, bunch of bands like that. Vader was the last band touring before everything shut down with COVID. So they were still on the road, and countries got shut down. And they were the first band who started touring again a couple of weeks ago. Like, they just thought, okay, fuck it, let's do it. Like, let's book what we can, play seated shows, which is weird to me, seated death metal show. but at least they did it and they tried. They didn't. I don't think they made money with it, but it's just to prove a point that we cannot give up and we need to continue being on the road. And when we see an opportunity, we need to grab it. And I like it that there's a lot of motivation like that. So therefore, I'm optimistic, and whenever there's something possible, there will be shows.
Great.
I'm a little bit less optimistic about America, as in that nobody knows what will happen with the elections. So nobody knows when American bands can come over, if they can control the COVID soon enough so that Europe says, okay, we can let bands in again to tour. That's still 50-50. I hope everything will be back to normal sort of before June, but it can also be later.
Okay. What about yourself personally? Have you been to any shows? Have you attended any shows?
No, not yet.
Okay.
But it's because I was dealing with some personal stuff at the moment.
Okay.
Within my family.
Do you think there's any shows you might go to in the near future?
Yeah, I've bought a ticket to see Marduk in December. They're playing the Netherlands. They're doing a seated show, which is going to be interesting. I'm actually going with all the Fubar guys, so it's going to be
a reunion.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And I'm going to a stand-up comedy show of a Dutch comedian, also in December. So that will be the first things I'm doing. I got invited to go next week to Amen Ra. They're doing an acoustic show in Germany, but on this Friday actually. But I cannot make it. So
okay, that's good to hear. This is a good segue, since you mentioned Fubar, to talk about Fubar. So, previous to Fubar, which I would consider a grindcore band. What do you think?
Sorry,
I would consider Fubar, for those listeners who are not aware, a grindcore band. Well, where was right? Okay.
Yeah, we started as a grindcore band, and I think we're still a grindcore band. Mm-hmm. Like that's our ethics, and that's what we do. We might not be blast beats all the time anymore, but I don't think that has anything to do with grindcore. That you're only grindcore if you have non-stop blast beats. That's not what it is.
I fully agree with you. I think, as you say, I think it's more of an ethics issue. And
yeah, it's a mindset. Yeah.
So before Fubar, your bands were mostly death metal, correct?
Yeah, Maggots was a bit of death grind, if you can say it like that. Okay. But a bit more death metal. Yeah.
Okay, so Fubar has done a lot of cool stuff, because you've been in Fubar. Correct me if I'm wrong. Are you the original singer of Fubar or no?
Well, actually, Fubar started as a band called Ice Cream Protest. And that was that was Paul, Baz and Mark, and then Boris, the old singer of Suppository, on vocals. And when he left, they did a bunch of songs together, and he left, and then I always joined them, go see rehearsals. And then at one day, it's like, why don't you sing? All right, I'll sing. And then we changed the name into Fubar. So yeah, I've been there from the beginning.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, that's what I thought. There was some sort of story like that, which I needed my mind refreshed. Anyways, you guys have done a lot of cool stuff throughout the years. Like more recently, I recall touring Japan.
Yeah.
Touring Japan. What was that? 2018, I believe.
Yeah.
And this all happened thanks to Naru from Butcher ABC. So can you tell me about how all of this happened, the experience, playing Japan? Because I remember last time I saw some of the Fubar guys was at Bloodshed, and they were telling me about how cool touring Japan was. Can you just share how that happened?
Yeah, it was awesome. I wrote an email to Naru, or we talked with the guys first with Fubar, like, what do we still want to do? Because we did a bunch of cool stuff. We've toured Europe a few times. We went to Brazil. We went to Russia. We're like, okay, what's next? Where do we really want to go? We all said, yeah, we really want to go to Japan. It's okay. Let's make it happen. Let's try. So I talked to Naru, and Naru said, yeah, no problem. Of course, we had to invest in it a little bit ourselves, but that doesn't matter. Like, we just wanted to play shows. We bought the flights, and then let's just see what's going to happen. And Naru booked us a couple of shows together with the lovely people from Unholy Grave. They did a show, and we played some shows with Coffins, and so we made a lot of friends there, and we met a lot of people who I already knew, obviously, through the Bloodshed connection and the Doomstar connection.
That's
and,
so.
Yeah.
Sorry. I didn't want to interrupt you. Go
No.
That's so cool. Like, every time I see like my friends' bands, like whether it's because we haven't been to Japan yet, but like every time I see my friends' bands go to Japan, like they play the coolest shows with like really cool bands, whether it's Coffins or Unholy Grave or SOB or Friendship or I don't know. If I feel like the scene is very united there.
Yeah, the scene is very tight, and yeah, and everybody's super nice and very into it. Like, when you come over there and play, they want to do the shows with you together, and
yeah,
that's super nice.
And thanks to later after this, I believe Butcher ABC came to Europe, and I'm pretty sure you helped them, or no? Maybe booking, because I know you. This is how my friendship with Naru blossomed, was because you put us both in contact so I could book them a Madrid show. So were you helping them book stuff in Europe?
With Japanese bands, it's always the case that they cannot tour a lot because everybody works a lot. They don't have much days off. So when they tour, they can only tour a couple of days, like literally maybe 6 or 7 days, and that's about it. So they came over to Obscene Extreme, which is of course the most convenient to play festival, either if it was Bloodshed Fest or if it's Obscene Extreme or another festival. And then they just see if they can attach a day or two to it. And that's basically what Naru asked me, like, we really want to play in Madrid. Can you hook me up with somebody? And I told him, I know exactly the guy I need you to hook up with. So that's, so that's how I helped him. Like, here you go. And yeah.
And talking about, this is a good segue to my next part about Fubar. I think you have a very strong kinship. I get the feeling you feel a lot of love for Spain in general. So much that Fubar did a Spanish tour at some point.
I really liked Spain when I was living in Madrid for a year. I used to work at Malasaña. My friend Paco has the Holy Cuervo shop there. And he was super nice by inviting me because I can work from home behind the laptop. But he told me, like, oh, you can sit here in our office and join us. And that was super nice experience. I really enjoyed Madrid.
Sorry, wait. Sorry, parentheses. Talking about Paco and working there, you remember that place you guys would go get lunch all the time? You get like vegan pizza?
Verbena bar, yeah. I think about it every week. Like, that's one of the things I miss with, and that's the difference of culture. Like, when I sit here, I wake up in the morning, I start working at 8, I stop at 6 o'clock, and during lunchtime, it's just, you have your box of sandwiches, you eat your sandwiches, and you continue working. But sitting there was like stopping at 2 o'clock, go to the bar, eat, Spanish. And then at 3:30 or at 4 o'clock, you start working again. And that was so nice and so refreshing every day. The whole
So,
social part.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like when you're a kid and like, okay, now it's time to go to the playground with my friends, you know, like,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but that's the difference. That's the difference between the Dutch efficiency and the Spanish efficiency, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
Yeah. And
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, so yeah, I really cherish that, and I think about that a lot. So that's how I started to appreciate Madrid, and also how welcome everybody was in the beginning when I came there. Like right away, everybody I knew invited me. Like, oh, we can go do this, we can go do this. I was very welcome. So from the first week I was there, I didn't feel I'm in a big city and I don't know anybody. I had the feeling right away like I know everybody and everybody wants to hang out and we can do fun things together. And that was super nice.
Yeah, that
That's
is very true about Spanish people. I think that it's very welcoming and it's sincere. It's like, yeah, let's hang out, let's have a beer, let's whatever. It's very sincere. It's not because I've lived in big cities and it can get very lonely, you know, if
yeah,
if you don't meet the right people, I guess. So sorry,
exactly.
I cut you off. I think you were talking about.
How I like Spain.
Oh yeah, touring Spain with Fubar, and this all. Oh yeah, how you love Spain, and go ahead. This all came about when you, yeah, when you, because how that tour you did in Spain with Fubar, it was Madrid,
I
Malaga, Almeria, I believe.
think so, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So
And then we didn't play Barcelona, right? No.
I believe not.
Uh,
And so so overall good experience in Spain, whether it's touring or living.
yeah, the touring bit was really nice as well. Super nice shows,
Yeah.
friendly people again, everybody. Yeah,
I even remember
that,
you
and
would sorry, you kept coming back. I remember you even came, you coincided with teething we had our record release show and you even came, you sang a song with us and everything, like good
yeah,
times. Good times.
yeah, that was nice. Yeah, that was still yeah, before I left or after I left, I had the feeling, okay, I need to try to come back as much as possible. Of course, then after a while, life happens and you cannot come over all the time. But I tried doing that as much as
You
possible.
did.
Yeah.
You came a couple of times that year. And then the other time you slept over. Um and talking continuing about Fubar. What are you guys what are you guys doing now and what future plans do you have?
Right now, we're just doing rehearsals. We're working on a new album.
Mhm.
I think we almost have 15 songs ready, and then we're going to write a few more, and then going to do a demo version. And then when everything sounds good, we're going to pick the numbers we want to release, and then we're going into the studio and we will record a new album somewhere next year. And then at one point, I hope we can play a bunch of shows again. Not that much, but yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't think we're going to do any massive touring anymore, but just a festival here and there and a show here and there. That's our plan.
Okay. So it's are you all living in the same city?
No, our drummer Paul, he lives about 10 minutes from where I live.
Mhm.
So I live in Weert, he lives in Nederweert. Then our bass player Joris, he lives in Lottem, which is a bit more northeast, close to the German border, and it's about 25 minutes drive from here. And then Bas and Mark, they live in Ude and Volkel, which is also close together, and that's about an hour drive from here, but more to the west. Yeah, and we rehearse every Tuesday evening.
Okay, but yeah, that's what okay.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's realistic for you guys to rehearse weekly.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like other bands where
As much
they
as possible. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Okay, so rehearsal tomorrow.
Yeah, not for me. I have some vocal issues,
Okay.
but that's going to be sorted out pretty soon.
Okay. And as for this new record, are you guys gonna record just an LP, or are you maybe thinking about doing some split records?
We didn't talk about that yet. Maybe we record some extra songs so we can do a split as well.
Okay.
That's it's always interesting, but we didn't talk about that yet. I think we first have to see how many songs we're gonna put on the album and which songs we really want to record, and then we'll take it from there.
Okay. Okay. And I guess you guys haven't even like looked into who might be releasing this material or anything.
No, not at all. No, we first want to record it, and then I'm going to. And we also need to think about what to do with the artwork. We didn't really start thinking about that as well. So still a lot to do on that side. I'm still writing lyrics at the moment,
right.
So that has priority.
When do you find is the best time to write lyrics? Because I kind of struggle with that.
For me, I need to have a good mindset for it. I noticed that with all the stress recently, I had didn't really work out to write lyrics. I did it a few times, but it's mostly when it's night and I sit alone behind my computer. Okay. Then I can write lyrics.
Yeah, I'd say my process is pretty similar.
But I think Boss, our guitar player, he's been writing most lyrics recently. And then we just meet up once in a while and we're going to make the vocal lines together and divide everything. And yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's good, man. So let's talk a bit about Bloodshed Festival, which I miss very much. Which for me, that was like, even though I only caught the tail end of it, I went to the last couple of Bloodshed festivals. I missed the last one because we were on tour in Southeast Asia, but David was very heartbroken for missing From Ashes Rise. And so Bloodshed Festival went strong for 20 years, and then you guys decided there was a good time to end. And can you tell the people listening how Bloodshed Festival? Well, you covered that a bit. It's how it began and how it ended and why it ended.
So Bloodshed Fest started 21 years ago. Our drummer Paul, he had a label called Bloodshed Records, and he was releasing our own Maggots albums. And then he just started booking bands in our local youth center. The venue was called the Bosuil, but it was still a really small venue, like a small shed for 200 people. And the first lineup was Last Days of Humanity, Aborted, Stoma. I can't remember the rest, but it was really cool lineup. 6 bands, 1 evening. And from there, we did that a couple of years, building it up. And then the Bosuil, the venue, built a new venue next to it, which was a venue for 500-600 people. So we thought, okay, we have a bigger venue now. Let's book more bands. And then we started to book more bands, and that developed into a whole festival, doing it 2 days. People from all over Europe came. And the old venue was pretty cool, actually, because it had a big field. It was in the middle of nowhere. It had a big field, and people could sleep in their cars. So that was quite fun. It gave it a little bit of a crust vibe as well, and more relaxed vibe. But at one point, we couldn't really get along with the venue anymore. Like the venue was mostly booking blues bands, local rock bands, blues bands. That was cover bands. That was it. And the people working there were all volunteers, so nobody was getting paid there. And all the volunteers were older people who were into blues and who were not so much into grindcore. So we couldn't get along with them at a certain point. And then we thought, okay, we need to move. And we moved to Eindhoven, to the Dynamo, because the Dynamo venue is also, it's famous because of the Dynamo Festival. The Dynamo Festival took the name from the Dynamo venue. And Dynamo venue is a youth center, which is also a venue and a social worker place and everything in between. And they welcomed us. So we built it up from there, booking more bands every year. And
by the way, let me just say, this is a super cool venue for those people who haven't been there. It has like two stages, downstairs and upstairs. Very spacious, great for just a lot of space in the middle for distros and bands to set up all of the stuff they're selling, and amazing food, etc. So continue, Luke.
Yeah, that was always really fun at the Dynamo. And then at a certain point, we sold out the Dynamo a few times, and then we thought, okay, let's give it a shot and try to make it bigger. That's what we did at the FNR, bigger venue in Eindhoven. And that sort of failed. Like, I don't know why. Maybe we couldn't get the right bands, or it was just too big, or we couldn't get the atmosphere there. It was cool, but it wasn't right. But it didn't feel right for us to go back to the Dynamo either. And then we lost a shit ton of money, like really a lot of money, by doing this. And then we thought, okay, it's maybe not worth it anymore. And not because we don't want to do it anymore, but it took us so much energy to do it. And then losing so much money, it didn't feel right anymore. And another side was as well that it got more and more difficult every year to book original bands. And we didn't want to become the festival who books the same bands every other year. And we also didn't want to be the festival who books bands who they don't want to book just because it's going to sell us tickets. Right. Because that doesn't feel right. There are already enough festivals. And if we just put there a bunch of bands just to sell tickets and to sell out and going to make us money and that's it, then it doesn't feel right anymore. But yeah,
I even remember. Sorry. I remember. Didn't want to interrupt you, but just I remember when you were still booking this festival, and you kept on like telling me like, Luis, if you have any good ideas of original bands, let me know. Yeah. You know, like so. I remember, which was the special thing about Bloodshed Festival, which maybe I'd hear about a rumor about a band might be getting back together, so I'd hit you up, and then you would try to contact that band to see if it was true. So you guys wanted exclusive and different things, which, which was the special.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to book a band who plays every week in every corner of Europe, because then people can go see them all the time. And then, and it was also gathering of friends. So in a way, maybe we could have continued in a smaller version. And that's something we were thinking about. And we had an idea to continue after Bloodshed Fest with something new, a little bit different, but still a sort of Bloodshed Fest. But then Corona, our busy Doomstar life happened, and it got more and more busier. And then Corona happened, and then we have to put that idea in the fridge. And I think at one point we will take it out of the fridge and we'll continue with it, because it is a really cool idea. And we teamed up with somebody who's also putting on a really cool festival. So I think when we mix our powers together, we can do something cool and original again, what people are going to like. And it doesn't need to be big. it can be 600 people or something like that. But first Corona needs to be gone, and then we'll take it from there.
Dude, one of the coolest things about Bloodshed Festival was you guys had your own bus.
Yeah, the Crust Bus.
Yes, the Crust Bus. Can you please tell me a bit about the Crust Bus?
Yeah, the Crust Bus is from Dennis. He's a friend of us. And at one point we asked him, like, do you have any more room for bands to sleep in? And then we said, yeah, I have the bus. People can sleep in there. And then at one point we thought, okay, we're going to move to the FNR, to the bigger venue. We have 2 stages. Maybe we need a 3rd stage. Well, why don't we put the bus there? I think it was Luc's idea to do it, and we made it the noise bus. And let's have bands play in the bus. That's even cooler. And then we organized that our logo has been spray painting on the side of the bus.
Super cool.
Yeah, it's.
I think everyone has a picture there. Everyone that's attended.
Yeah.
You know.
But the bus is still there. It's still in Eindhoven. Dennis drives around in it, and even when people go to Pitfest in the Netherlands, they can see the bus because the entrance of the 3rd stage of Pitfest goes through the bus. So you go in the bus, you go out the other side, and then you enter the room.
That's sick. I didn't realize it was still strong and standing. That's great to hear, dude.
Yeah, it's Bloodshed is still represent on Pitfest.
Fuck
so
yeah,
that's
dude.
Cool.
So something I always really liked hanging out with you because you'd always share the most really amusing stories about just, you know, like about booking bands and just incidents that happen at Bloodshed Festival. For example, one comes to mind, which was the whole Trap Them incident.
That was awesome.
Yeah. So for those listeners, one of the greatest, in my opinion, one of the greatest bands to exist in our time was Trap Them. They're not together anymore. They played one of their last shows ever at Bloodshed Festival, and something very unfortunate happened. Which I saw like a meter away or 2 meters away. So can you tell us about what happened?
Yeah, the singer. What's his name?
Ryan.
Ryan. Yeah, he climbed on one of the, because they always give a freak show, like a freak show in a way that is super energetic, and there's always something happening, and he always hurts himself by accident or just by how it happens. And it was the start of the tour. I think they already arrived at the venue, and he already looked messed up. Like, I think he had a black eye, and from the show the day before. And so the show starts at Bloodshed Fest, and he climbs on the speaker, on one of the speakers on the side, and he jumps off, as far as I recall.
Correct.
And when he jumps off and he lands on the floor, everybody could see he was in agony. Like, something was wrong. He was in agony. But he kept continuing the show, like the whole fucking show. And he was in pain. Like, that was horrible to see, but awesome to see in a way as well. Like, he finished as a trooper, but everybody could see, like, he's suffering. And so we were on the side of the stage with a bucket of ice and with a chair to set him down right after the show. And we saw right away that, okay, both his feet, something's terrible wrong. So we had to call an ambulance, put him in the ambulance. And then later on, we realized he broke both his heels of his feet. So that what happened. He jumped, something went wrong. He breaks his heels of his feet, which is so fucking weird, in my opinion.
Whoever wants to check that out, there's a couple of videos on YouTube about that fall, which it actually wasn't that high. I mean, it's obviously high, but I think he must have his heels must have been weak or something. I'm sure.
Yeah, something's went wrong. Sometimes you can just fall over and then something happens. Just bad luck.
Something tells me his body gave up. Like, he must have done that many times, and that time was just like, I'm gonna break.
Yeah.
And as you said,
Yeah.
he troopered during the whole. He troopered during the rest of the show. I think he had like 30 minutes, and it hurt to watch him sing, but he just gave double the performance, and it was fucking great.
Yeah, and
And
that's one of the shows who always stays in your mind, and that's pretty cool. The
is
fun thing is, I'm booking Wolves in the Throne Room now, and they have a new member. I don't remember now if he's the guitar or the bass player, and he was on the Beermot tour they did.
Mhm.
Was it the beginning of this year? I think so. And then I was talking to him afterwards in the bar, and I realized he played in Trapdom. Like fucking hell, he was playing that show at the Dynamo. We were talking about it, like bloody hell. So now he's been playing in Wolves in the Throne Room. So that was
and
interesting.
so you don't recall if this is the guitarist or the bassist? I wasn't aware of this.
No, I don't remember exactly who it is, but
Okay.
or well, at least what he's playing. Yeah.
Okay. Because I know the guitarist. I believe Brian. He's in All Pigs Must Die now, and I'm not sure. Anyways, also talking about bands that played some of their last shows at Bloodshed Festival, there was the Weekend Nachos show, which was one of the last
Yeah.
shows. And if I recall, that was your last stage dive.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but that was fun to do because it was their last show, so I had to stage dive again. I normally don't do it that often anymore, but and the cool thing is with Weekend Nachos, they did their first show on Bloodshed Fest. I think in total we had them 3 times. So they did their first European show, and now they did their last. And they always have a special place in our heart because
So
it's awesome band.
it was full circle, yeah.
Yeah.
Began and ended there, and you I think you keep close with them, right? Because later you booked Like Rats,
Yeah.
yeah, and so on. And do you have any other
Yes.
like? Sorry, go ahead.
No.
Okay. Do you have any other like cool stories you'd like to share about just with Bloodshed Festival? Anything?
Oh. Jesus. Let me think. Oh, I don't know right now. Every year has been cool. We also had the unofficial after party, and that was always in the squad of or in the house of Dennis, who owns the Crust Bus. He also had the Crust Bar, which was a
Nice.
bar. His house, what he squatted, where we lived for a long time, was actually a bar. So they lived above it, and that bar bands could play. So in the middle of the night, a bunch of the visitors who knew that it was there walked all the way through Eindhoven, because it was a bit of a walk, I think half an hour, walked there, and then ended up in fucking party mode until 6, 7 in the morning. And when bands, because we had bands sleeping there as well, and then sometimes bands used to play there in the middle of the night after the festival as well, doing surprise shows. So that was always super cool.
Dude,
I didn't. I think I attended it one time because I was always busy cleaning up afterwards. But
exactly. One thing comes to mind. I don't know if you want to talk about this. Feel free to not talk about this. But I recall you trying to book Phobia for the festival.
Oh, yeah. This is still a band I really want to bring over to Europe, but it's just simply not possible. But no, it's not appropriate to say.
Okay.
No.
Okay. And wait, something. Oh,
But
I must say. Sorry.
we did book Phobia for when they were touring Europe for the last time. So the old venue where Bloodshed used to be, the Bosel, we booked one of their shows. I think it was a Wednesday or Tuesday evening, and that venue, it's a big open space with a balcony, but you can also close off the open space that it's just a really tiny bar where maybe 30 people fit in. And so we booked that show there, and I think that's one of the coolest shows I've ever seen, because Phobia was so good, and we were just there with 30 people going completely bananas, watching them.
Wow, what year
Yeah,
was this?
it's a long time ago.
10, 15 years ago, maybe?
Yeah, it should be 10, 12 years ago.
Okay.
Definitely.
Wow.
Yeah.
I must say, before we stop talking about the Bloodshed Festival, as a band that has played there, out of all of our years of eating food, Bloodshed Festival, I'm pretty sure, in my opinion at least, had the best catering ever. So
Yeah,
good, dude.
it's friend of us who Rudy and Mark. They've been vegan cooking for a long time. They did that in the beginning. That's right, for a long, long time. And I don't remember the year you were there, if it was Rudy and Mark doing it, or if we had the people from Daybase. Did you ever play Daybase in Utrecht?
No.
Which is yeah, it's a cool venue. I think a lot of bands and people know it. And they have a really cool catering staff there, and they've been cooking for us as well for 1 or 2 years. So I don't recall anymore who was cooking when you were there, but we always made sure that we had really awesome vegan food, and we always wanted it to be 100% vegan, because where the festival is located, everybody can go out and eat whatever they want. They have to walk 3 meters, and they can eat pizza, kebabs, French fries, whatever they want. But vegan food was always quite complicated in the south of the Netherlands. And so we thought, okay, we need to at least serve vegan food, and it needs to be awesome. So that's why that was quite important to us.
Yeah, I love when festivals do that, like Bloodshed Festival or the Obscene Extreme Festival, you know. So props for that. Props for the most amazing food ever.
Thank you.
So before I let you go, I like to end all of these chats talking about movies. Is there any movie, because you and me like to talk about movies once in a while, is there any movie that comes to mind that you want to recommend, whether it's something you've seen recently or one of your favorites ever?
For some reason I got stuck in the whole Netflix bubble, so I've been stuck into series and not movies that much, and I sometimes regret it. It's like, fucking hell, I've been watching series all the time. I want to find a good movie again. Then I have a hard time finding good movies. I think my favorite movies are Fight Club and American Beauty.
Okay.
Classic,
but good.
I don't know why. Yeah, the classic, but yeah, especially Fight Club. It's really, yeah, so intense and such a good story that I like it. And with American Beauty as well, because American Beauty shows the Groundhog Day daily life, how boring daily life can be, but still all the drama around it. And for me, that's very interesting when people get stuck into their daily routines and try to get out of it, or are bored with their lives. It's and how everybody's trying to get attention. And I think
Right.
it's a very I think that the movie is still relevant right now, because it's growing. Everybody's looking for attention all the time, especially since we're so addicted to social media. That's what everybody's been addicted on right now. They constantly need a WhatsApp message, or they constantly need a ping or a like, or they constantly need the attention. They need to put on a selfie and then see how many likes they have. It's like it's just madness. And it shows that we're addicted to it. We're so insecure that we're addicted to all this attention all the time. And that movie was so far ahead already.
Mm-hmm.
In my
I
opinion.
think that the movie
Yeah.
must be. It might even be like 20 years old at this point. I remember
Yeah.
when it was a fresh movie, and
Yeah.
know a movie's good when it's such a quotable movie. It has so many. One out of every 2 sentences is a quotable sentence. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
And I think this was a before and after for Kevin Spacey as well. Like he gave a great performance in this movie.
Yeah, he was a good actor.
Yeah,
and he still is. But
if you're on the net, just here's my recommendation. If you're on the Netflix bubble and you wanna catch a movie, there's 2 very good movies of this. There's a original, I think it's original Netflix movie, which is Uncut Gems, which is an Adam Sandler.
Oh,
movie.
I watched it.
Okay.
It was amazing, and because I like Ben Affleck. It's Ben Affleck, right?
Adam Sandler.
Oh, sorry. I always mix them up. Adam Sandler. Sorry.
Yeah.
I really like Adam Sandler because Happy Gilmore is one of my favorite comedy movies,
dude.
obviously.
So good.
But this shows that he can do more. And I always thought he can just do one thing. Like he can play Adam Sandler and that's it. But in this movie, he still has his little manners, but he plays it so well, and it's such a sad movie. It's unbelievable.
He definitely shows his range in this movie. And this movie is so intense. It's so agonizing, so stressful, you know?
Yeah.
And but for me, like actors don't necessarily need to have range, but yeah, this definitely shows Adam Sandler's darker side. And if you enjoyed that, because it's not a director, it's a duo. It's 2 guys. I think they might even be brothers. Did another movie called Good Time. Are you familiar?
Okay, I don't know that one.
I think it's also on Netflix, and it's with Robert Pattinson, who's the guy from Twilight and stuff. So it's similar. Like he shows his darker side. So you might enjoy this one. But
I'm going to remember that one. That's cool.
So Luke, I think is there anything else you'd like to add or talk about?
Well, I can keep talking. I can keep talking about Doomstar. I can keep talking about Fubar, Bloodshed Fest. It's what it is. It's especially Doomstar. It's my passion, so I can keep talking about it. But I don't know what to add anymore at this point. It's been nice seeing you again, and it's been too long. And I really hope we can travel soon again in a safe way, so that I can come to Madrid, can visit you again, because I do miss it a lot. Seeing friends on other places, and even though you don't speak with each other for a while, it still feels like we have a connection again, and that's what I really like.
For sure, this is exactly why I'm doing this, because it gives me an excuse to reconnect with old friends. You know, we make time. I know we're all very busy, but this is like a perfect excuse. Like, you know, like, Luke, let's just shoot the shit for an hour or 2 or whatever, and catch up like old times, and this is a perfect excuse. So thank you for giving me your time.
Thank you for listening to me.
Okay, and hope to see you soon, my friend. Okay, when all this shit passes. Too. Okay, dude.
Cool. Thank you.
Take care. Peace out. Give my love to Paco. Okay?
I will. Thank you. Give my love to Bingo.
So that was my conversation with my friend Luke. And it was great, you know, chatting with him. It was super, 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 super easy booking some time with him. He told me that that's his Dutch efficiency. If you book a time and a day with him, he's there. Props to Luke. And, you know, if you enjoy this podcast, rate, share, subscribe, blah, 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 blah. And, do, 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 do.